Good afternoon. So, as promised on one of my Insta stories, I will be doing little excerpts from Mind the Gap in the same fashion that I was doing performing excerpts for you from my book Bollywood on the Bend. Bollywood on the Bend, of course, was fiction, and I had to put a lot of energy into dramatizing the gods and goddesses who Tamanna, the author, happens to intuitively converse with when she's in India. Mind the Gap was born out of reality. It's a reality show of sorts within between covers, and I genuinely hope it becomes a reality show on Netflix. So if there are any takers, give me a shout. DM me on Instagram. I'm Cindy Crawford, and or DM me on Facebook, Sangeeta Wadhwani, and you can put in hello, and I'll pop up there. Hello, Mumbai. So basically, this book was born when I came across so many accomplished women everywhere I was going as a magazine editor, meeting designers, meeting lawyers, meeting CEOs, and they were most of them either content single or just very disappointed with the kind of partnership that was on offer. And many of them were divorced and fearing to venture back into a long term partnership, at least within the Indian context. So I started having natural and organic conversations with everyone. And I said, okay, I see enough material here for a book that should take both the sexes on a path of introspection. And I'm not putting a blame game scene here. I'm not addressing this to be a man problem or a lady problem. I am addressing it as a problem. And I'm saying, let's look at the nuts and bolts, let's deconstruct what's going on, and let's find a way out of the labyrinth so that we end up harmonizing rather than fighting, and respecting rather than disparaging the gender divide. So I will read to you at least the edit note that leads you into the book. And it is called Why Mind the Gap? And I'll just do a few excerpts for you. The first statistic that struck me in a John Gray book was that in the US in 2010, women choosing to stay single increased by 100%. And if it's happened in America, it generally those sort of trends tend to pan out in other democracies as well. And India, of course, is even more complex because we've been a patriarchal culture for centuries. We even have a legal system that is now attacking the patriarchy. So, for example, the law that said that women have no succession rights to the family property because she is a pariah dhan, that law has been amended and has been further amended this year. So we are in a much more extreme set of changes, because America, at least that way, had the suffragette movement, and the first two waves of feminism were pretty strong, and the third wave of feminism is a lot more subtle. In India, we are kind of seeing a collision of the first, second, and third all at the same time. At least that's the way I see it. So anyway, so I mentioned that statistic, and then I mentioned that on many dating apps, I have been meeting men who say that their wives just quit on them. Like you quit a job, like as if having a marriage was just having an extra job and they didn't want that extra job. But it got me thinking that, one should address this and one should figure out, where are these single women going, single and newly single, and what are they seeking? And Chaiti Narula, who is a Delhi-based news anchor, shared with me that she felt that the exposure that Indian men had was not somehow matching the exposure that the working Indian woman was having. And she says, perhaps their exposure has not been on an even keel, okay? But I have trouble relating to archaic mindsets, especially when men say what they want in a wife is different from what they want in a girlfriend. Now imagine you are putting a woman through a double whammy. You want certain things from her as a boyfriend, okay? A no strings attached, a non-clingy attitude, running away from the idea of seriousness and commitment. And yet when your parents kind of say the gong has struck and you have to be a married man, you tend to give in to who your parents find for you. And this sort of double standard way of operating is just not attractive to anyone, to any woman, I'm sure. So basically, a lot of the women were telling me things that pointed to a 21st century gap which was being felt by many dynamic career women. I'm sure by some men also. So I interviewed men about what they felt about this so-called evolved new age Indian woman, and they had some very interesting stories, which I will tell you in subsequent videos. So we end with the edit note saying, and as a single independent magazine editor and author myself, I was also in quest of a man with a more impactful mind, a man who was individualistic, driven by his own vision and not by his inheritance. There was a point in my magazine career when I had to attach designations to the single society men in Bombay. And all the names were familiar to me, but when I Googled them, I was shocked to see how little they had achieved, how many of them were just known by the family name. And today's women that I'm interviewing are all saying, we are not impressed by your family name. Show us what you have arrived at. Show us what your challenges and your struggles and your pot of gold, where has it come from? If it's a hand-me-down pot of gold, then you've not really worked towards it. So why mind the gap? And this book was really born from that itch, that quest to table this gap. It's difficult to quantify these gaps because in India we don't spend so much money doing statistical research, and it's difficult to quantify what is palpable, audible. But when busy professional and business women congregate in girls group, if you had to drop in on those conversations, trust me, you would learn a lot. So the book is my humble offering to our 21st century Indian men. It is my way of holding out a psychographic roadmap to a gender that has had no real reason to introspect till the woman of the day has walked away. Another divorce, another breakup. We don't want to see the statistics because it's not a pretty picture. Gentlemen, no offense, but I'm letting you in on closed door conversations. Here's hoping for new possibilities when we mind the gap. For Woman 2.0, it makes sense for you to be Man 2.0. And these conversations are going to hold us in thrall. And you'll be pretty surprised at the revelations in my new book. If you're looking to read a copy, it's available as a paperback on Amazon, but you'd have to order it from the US. But the quality of their printing has really left me impressed. Zero supervision. You can also read it for free if you're a member of the Amazon Kindle library. And if you're an Indian man, I urge you to read this book. It will make huge amount of change in your life. So signing off for this afternoon. Take care. We'll meet soon again. Bye.